What's happening?
What are we celebrating?
What
I
is
can't
this?
even
Wow,
hear myself
we
think.
boys, welcome to BackChat, powered by Paywise.
Powered by me.
It's celebration time. That's right. The umbrellas are out. I've got
What?
some party poppers for you.
Well, okay, I love these, but what's going on? Is this
I went early.
is it someone's birthday?
Still can't hear myself. What's
These things are so annoying when you've got kids at home.
It's literally just dropped.
What?
This article on westcoasteagles.com.au. I am dressed in the famous ochre
Okay.
Oh, no.
for a
Coaching
very
announcement?
good reason.
Oh, no.
I would say bigger news than the coaching announcement.
What?
I mean, I went down to Coles and bought the party poppers and the things and the best balloons ever.
Okay.
Have you
I've gone early again.
Did you blow these up? That's like
have you seen
half
this?
filled.
Right.
It's the worst balloons ever.
Let me just read it to you.
Yes, please.
Okay, go on. Tell us what.
It's going to give it a little bit
Hey,
away. I mean, I feel like this is underselling a little bit. It's going to give away when you hear the title of the article. This is
Okay,
on
that's
westcoasteagles.com.au.
We've got a new coach.
Just dropped. It's a contract extension.
Oh, boy.
Emerging Eagle signs on.
Oh, tell me it's the ball.
The boy.
West Coast has extended the contracts of an exciting young duo, so there's two.
Understood.
Two for the price of one.
Vic Country product.
Oh, my God. That'll be Harley Reid.
Reed has added 2
What?
more
Whoa!
years to stay in blue
Yeah,
and
how many
gold
bits in it?
until at least the end of 2027.
So we're winning premierships till 2027.
While South Australian rookie Rawlinson has re-signed for next season,
Great.
the pair have become
Great too. Well done.
close friends during their first year at Mineral
Yes! Pop the
Resources Club
champagne!
and
Passion,
are buoyant about
passion,
the
pop.
club's future.
Absolutely.
And this is what Reed has to say. Looking at what we've got, really getting to know the boys in my first year, I can really see that the club is going somewhere, and I really want to be part of it, says Reed. Stick that up, your Melbourne media. That hasn't popped as well as you would have thought it would have. Reed continues to say, I feel like us young boys are really going to drive it. Me and Locke have become quite close, so it's great. He's with me and
Well done,
can't
Locke.
wait to see what we
Well
can
done, Locke, for
produce
bringing him
next
home.
year as
Keeping him
well.
here.
Reed was an impressive performer for the Waffle Eagles after overcoming a knee injury,
Archer Reid.
which hampered his pre-season. The
Yes.
strong marking
Is this Locke that we're talking about?
the strong
this is Archer
marking
This is Archery.
203 centimetre forward.
You scumbag.
Kicked 17 goals
Oh, you.
in
Okay.
15 games. West Coast has extended the duo.
Oh, no.
Oh.
That didn't work.
The passion pop doesn't taste as
Promising
good now.
tall Archer Reed and small forward.
Why isn't this working?
Stop trying to pop in my face.
I had the hat ready and everything.
Okay. Well,
That's so flattening.
Archer,
Oh, I mean, no.
well, hang on a minute. What? That's so flattening. Archer Reid.
Archer Reed, everybody.
Archer Reed's great. No, I'm sure Archer Reed's a great young man. I just thought it was Harley. I just thought it was Harley.
Yeah. The only news bigger than that would be the signing of a new coach.
Do you know what do you mean?
Maybe. Nah.
You don't.
That's really flattening that you've done that to me.
Mm.
Why do you hate West Coast so much?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Why do you hate
It's not
us?
even working.
Genius in a wheelchair.
I'm
Excited.
done.
I'm
now.
really flat.
I'm done now.
That passion pop tastes gross now.
That passion pop does taste a bit yuck. I don't know why you even looked at it.
That's
Well, I was
right.
excited to celebrate.
Reed re-signs with West Coast. Welcome to another couple of years at the club, Archer Reed. Now, boys, I've got that out of the way.
West Coast knew what they were doing with that.
They did. His replacement's in.
They've just on the tweet. It just says Reed re-signed.
Oh, that is yuck
That's
behavior.
clickbaiting.
That's
Animals.
yuck.
I like it. I've got to be honest.
So do I,
love it.
to be fair. And Archer Reid's a pretty good player. He played really well against us, kicked a couple. He's great.
I think he's a good player too. Now, I don't know if you boys have been watching any of the trade news of late, but there's a fair bit going on coming into finals.
Good time.
Yep.
For
Right.
footy
There's
fans.
there's a fair bit going
so
on.
much.
I reckon I've seen the phrase rivals circling
Oh, it's so annoying.
player X at least 1,000 times.
I saw
Or
today
Coach X.
Jake Stringer is being circled by rivals. I was like, oh, okay.
Circle.
So he plays for Essendon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Went on to the link. It was Sydney. Sydney Circle. Since when is Sydney the rival of Essendon?
Well, there's 17 rivals for every club.
Exactly.
Really.
Stop. I've seen it so many times. Stop saying rivals.
Darling's getting circled by North Melbourne.
Oh, biggest rival of West Coast is
Elliot signed
history.
on ahead of circling rivals in the middle of the year.
This behaviour needs to stop.
Andy
from
Brayshaw, free agent, coming out next year. Rivals beginning to circle the wagons.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Any info on that for us, Hammer?
No, nothing there. I think he's happy
if you're a
at
Freo
Freo.
fan, I'd be worried.
Everything's coming from North Melbourne, home of the former West Coast coach Adam Simpson, obviously.
What's this? The Shimbo
Everyone's
Spirit.
circling. They're all
Right.
circling.
So you
It's
think
North
North-
Melbourne. They've just got a big cache of money to throw at
Who
someone.
are they going to get? Are they going to go get someone? Surely they're going to get
They'll
someone.
get JD.
So they could get it. They could get a shit. Like, I mean, Andy must have Shimbo. I mean, if you were North Melbourne growing up, I'm assuming Andy was as well.
No, Andrew was Port Adelaide.
Why were you North Melbourne then?
Dad
Why was he Port
played
Adelaide?
there. He worked. So Dad worked at 4 clubs.
This is good. This is good. If we can get this into mainstream media, that there's a link to Port Adelaide.
Adelaide.
Andy Brayshaw, because he used to go for him as a kid.
So Dad worked at 4 different footy clubs. Worked at Freo when he first started in football.
And we saw what happened
We
there.
saw what happened there. So Angus went for Freo growing up. He moved to Port Adelaide. Andrew goes for Port Adelaide. He then moved to Richmond. Will goes for Richmond. And then he worked at North, so I go for North.
Right. So you're, all I can
All 4,
derive
yeah.
for that.
Andrew's going to Port
Adelaide or Richmond. Andrew Brayshaw,
Yeah.
strong connections.
links.
Massive
Strong
connections.
links.
Yeah, huge links.
Jeez. Speaking of links, I saw on Netflix.
Nice.
Great segue.
Nice.
I saw on Netflix Joey Chestnut
Mm-hmm.
is taking on the other guy.
Oh, this is the world record.
It's like a live hot dog eating contest. On
Joey
Netflix.
Chestnut's going to win.
Aren't all the hot dog eating?
No, it's just a one-on-one. It's like
Oh.
it's an opportunity for a guy to like take back the throne. I don't know. I was turned on Netflix yesterday. It's this huge promo about it. Like
Joey Chestnut holds the record. I believe it's 76 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes,
Right.
which is ludicrous. That's a
Yes.
lot of hot dogs and buns.
Does it impress you?
It impresses me immensely. I had who was it? We were discussing ideas for my brother's Bucks party, my older brother, and one of them was a Subway eating challenge because he loves Subway like no man.
You've made me want to eat Subway right now.
And I have eaten footlongs in under 2 minutes before and would just
Yes.
demolish it.
Yeah.
And so that might be on the card, the little Subway eating challenge.
So it's Chestnut v Kobayashi.
Oh yeah, Kobayashi, mate. He's a
Unfinished
Japanese.
beef, and they did like a weigh-in and everything. It's a 1v1
Is
hot
this
dog.
soon?
Game. Yeah, Tuesday at 3 a.m. Perth time.
So you didn't say this on the podcast, I'm sure. You were telling me in private. You guys went to the new and updated Saint. I think it's called the Morris.
The Morris, yes.
And
yeah.
Where the Saint was?
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a shout out to the East Perth boys. So I'll wind it back a little bit. I'm down, just minding my own business down at East Perth Oval, down Leadville Oval, just trying to train for the Kokoda. Which
Yeah, you are, mate. Doing great things there.
Because you boys are getting into me, saying I need to get my trainers on and
Yeah.
do hills. And
Did you wear the boots?
Mate, I
Pennywise,
wore
the
them.
dancing clown.
I was in them, but I went down to Leadville Oval and I was trying to get, because I was thinking, where's the most stairs close to my house? I know there's stuff at Kings Park and stuff. And I thought Leadville Oval, like the stand.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Mate, it's all locked. They locked the stand. The stand's locked.
What?
Yeah, the stand's locked. Couldn't
Oh, yeah, to get up. Yeah,
I couldn't get into the stand.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, I know that.
So I had to resort to the shitty,
Yeah, the wooden benches on
I
the
reckon
far,
there's probably like
at the TAFE end.
8 steps at the TAFE end.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll do this. So I was trying to run up them. It was doing nothing.
Yeah, up and down about 12 steps.
At that stage, all of your lads roll out
Yeah,
because you got the
we had a
pre-finals
yeah,
bye.
we had a session.
Yes.
Not a pre-finals bye, mate. We get the reward for finishing
Finals
first
bye.
bye.
Finals
It's
bye.
a finals bye.
Well done. And
Only
then I
us.
walked onto the other stairs and I'm
Yep.
going up and down the hills there. Anyway, shout out to the East Perth lads.
Shout out to the
Bit of
boys.
banter from the lads.
A little bit. Yep, that was good.
They were getting into me a bit.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And I said, where's your fucking fearless leader, Hamish Brayshaw, cooking the barbecue?
Nah, I wasn't actually cooking the barbecue.
Well,
I was doing-
I was told by Scott Jones.
Yeah, well, I did say that, but then I was doing it. I was in the middle of a cardio session, and so Angus Schumacher took over.
Oh,
And did
that's
the barbecue.
convenient.
My
was
my
very
mum
convenient.
said to me yesterday.
My story's still going, by the way.
Oh,
but
sorry.
continue.
No.
Keep going.
Well, my mum said to me yesterday, can you let me? Is East Perth good? Like, are they going to be in the grand final? Because your dad and I would like to get tickets to go watch them because it's going to be at Optus. And I said, oh, I think so. I think they're going to be in the grand final. She's like, great, we'll get some tickets.
Is she asking for free tickets from Hamish?
No,
and
she's
the
not
captain?
asking for free tickets because she would happily support the club.
That'd be great. I don't think
But
we'd
just
get
wants
much on.
your guarantee that you'll be in the grand final before they buy
Yeah,
tickets.
well, we'll try our best.
Okay,
So if I
great.
can keep going with this story.
Yeah, keep going.
If I can keep going back to the story.
Oh, it's a great story.
Great
Wow,
story.
there's no real story otherwise. It's segueing nicely into the East
Yeah.
Perth boys.
Yeah.
You told me off air, and I'm segueing from Kobayashi versus old
Kobayashi
mate.
versus Joey Chestnut. Yep.
You went to the Morris, the old Saint, the new Saint.
The new Saint.
And without your knowledge, the boys had put the hat around and created a bet as to over-under for Hammer eating a steak sandwich. So without telling Hammer, all the East Perth boys have bet on whether or not over-under 3 minutes.
No, well, they picked their own lines, and one of the boys said under 3 minutes. The other one said above 4:30.
So little but known to you.
And I had no idea. And I started tucking into mistake saying it.
And it took you how long?
2 minutes and 58 seconds.
Wow. That's cool.
And it was just the steak sandwich, so I didn't have to worry about the chips. And I ate the chips last. Straight into the steak sandwich.
Interesting.
Just like, I'm not... the conversation's still going. I don't know that this bet's going on.
But everyone's watching.
How did they know you were going to get the steak sanger?
Well, because I ordered it.
Oh, right.
And then
so
they made it. And then I ordered it, and they were like, well, what's... And on the other side of the table...
Smart.
On the other side of the table, they're like, oh, you know, what do you reckon? Anyway, I finished to just a round of applause. And the boys, they stopped the clock, turned it around 2:58. Then I obviously realised what they were doing, and it was, it was quite funny.
So you can eat some food.
I can eat some food. So I'm not Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi sort of stuff, but I'll be there.
Well, Tuesday 3 a.m. I don't know why this is a promo for Netflix, but I think I might get up and watch it.
So our very good friend of the show, as we move on from that, Dan, Josh Kennedy. And I'm talking West Coast edition.
One of the great friends of the show.
I'm not talking Josh Kennedy Sydney edition. I'm talking Josh Kennedy West Coast
the better
edition.
one.
Carlton and West Coast edition.
The better one, the Carlton one, the one that stutters in his run-up.
Yeah. The one that we gave away a hopeless Chris Judd for, and
correct.
At the time people were upset about it.
And Tony Knott.
Yeah, Tony Knott was there.
Don't ever forget about Tony Knott. He's still playing the waffle. Plays about 700 games. He's back in the news, Josh Kennedy.
Yeah, he is.
Brilliant. Should always be in the news.
He's carrying the cup.
He is carrying the cup around
Premiership
the country.
Cup ambassador.
What does that even mean?
No idea.
Coincidentally, we had the other Josh Kennedy on the podcast, and he was 2023's Premiership Cup ambassador.
Right.
So with a bit of inside information, I haven't spoken to
just copy paste
the West Coast Josh Kennedy. Right, someone's forgot to change the name out. Yeah. It's just a junket, I believe.
Yeah, I
believe
think
it's
so.
just a junket.
bunch of cashies and fill the pockets up.
Yeah, correct. Take the cup around, go to sporties, do events. Wobble the head.
They were on, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I am. They were on they had an uncanny similar career in terms of games played, those two. Both Josh Kennedys.
Really?
Like, for a long time, they just, mirrored each other.
So, while they were playing their 230th, it was about the same time?
Yeah.
Right.
They were all around about the same.
Who spat out more games? Can you just, Google Josh Kennedy and see what games they spit out to? But... interestingly enough, so well done, Josh Kennedy, on being the Premiership Cup ambassador.
Well done, Josh Kennedy. Well done, Josh Kennedy.
Well done, mate.
But more excitingly, boys, and I think you'll both be excited with this, Josh Kennedy has an update on West Coast Eagles' new Premiership coach. And I say Premiership coach, not just new coach.
Okay.
Wow.
He's going to win Premierships with Archer Reed.
Well, he's a Premiership Cup ambassador, so I think he's just
yeah.
wheeling out Premiership. I'm just going to read you some quotes.
Understood.
This is from our friend Josh Kennedy.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd love to see Coxie to be able to come back, but he's pretty much over there in Sydney, Kennedy. But he's pretty set over there in Sydney, Kennedy told reporters Monday. Strategy-wise, he's just grown over the course of his time as a player. Even talking to him over the course of the time he wasn't playing, the stuff he talks about is that high elite level. Josh Kennedy would love to see Dean Cox back in the West, coaching the West Coast Eagles.
Did he say that today?
Oh, my God.
You put this in here. You don't have to.
Wow. Didn't he already say that?
Did he say it today?
At some point, he did. He said about 2 hours ago. Well, that's what on the AFL website. At some point, they have to leave Dean Cox alone.
Yeah.
You can't keep wheeling this guy in or reeling him in to try and force him to be the coach. He doesn't want to do it.
So JK's in Gero, boys. So I reckon sometimes he misses about a few weeks of mainstream media.
No clue.
I honestly, I reckon if we put it to him and said, do you know that Coxie's had to come out 3 times and said he doesn't want the job?
Yeah.
What would be the funniest thing ever if Dean Cox does become the coach?
Imagine that.
After all of this.
The husband
all
of
a
the
ruse.
king.
Josh Kennedy.
Husband of the Queen, sorry.
Yeah, correct. Josh Kennedy, West Coast. Josh Kennedy, West Coast, 293 games.
Yep.
Josh Kennedy, Sydney, 290.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
very, very close.
And he spent a lot of the time injured, Josh Kennedy, Sydney.
Yes.
Late. Remember,
Did
he's
Josh,
having
Josh
trying to come back.
Kennedy, West Coast, have many injuries?
Yeah, late, I reckon.
He just strapped them up and played through everything.
Pretty durable.
He's an absolute
Very
animal.
durable.
Anyway, so if you want to go and see Josh carry the cup around, I'm sure you can tune into an RSL around the country.
That would
somewhere.
mirroring their careers together would make a great book from a really famous author.
Right.
Okay.
The,
I'll leave you some time
We
to
were
think
at a
about the name
lunch
of that.
last week. The three of us were at a charity lunch. How good's a charity lunch on a
Nothing
Friday,
better.
by the
Well, I
way?
mean, it'd be great if my season was finished. I'd get on the cans. But
Yeah,
so
correct.
you were still great.
We saw a Josh Kennedy memorabilia piece that was being auctioned off in
Yes.
part of a silent auction. And you said Hammer, I think. Is he is he top 10?
Top 5, top 10 Eagles.
I think you said top 10.
No, this was me.
Yeah, you said top 10. I think we said top 5, which then got the discussion going, who is... I think JK's top 5
That's right.
West Coast
Well,
Eagles,
John
right?
Worsfold, I think.
Is he number 1?
I'd say so. 2-time premiership coach.
I think we're talking
Has
about
been
just.
premiership coach.
I think we're
just players.
just players.
Just playing?
Okay, Ben Cousins.
Yeah, Dean Cox for me.
Dean
Right.
Cox is... Yeah, Dean Cox.
Is
yeah,
number
true.
1?
Changed the game. Best ruck almost
true.
ever.
Right.
Like, very good.
I think we
The
said...
name Chris Judd came up, and I said he's not in the top 10.
Yeah, that's a big call. I don't know about...
His
top,
first 100 games were the best ever.
Correct, but if he had played the rest of his games there, he'd be number 1.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He
didn't.
left.
Yeah, that's true.
He left.
You can't have him in the top
no.
5.
You
No,
have
he's not in the
Josh
top 5.
Kennedy over Chris Judd.
It's like Sam Mitchell's not in the top 5,
Yeah, I know,
is
that's
he?
true.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
He played
yeah.
at West Coast for a bit.
Yeah, he did.
But and he's a 4-time premiership player. But
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. You are correct. Who else do we have in there?
of modern day, like Matt Prittis gets a run around, but people don't like to rank him. Like Dean,
Bunga played 350,000
Bunga.
games.
yeah,
Luke Shuey is pretty good.
yeah,
he
Chris
was.
Mainwaring, good player.
Yep. Well, Josh Kennedy,
Skull-
top 5.
Hammer.
I think
I was
it's, I,
pretty-
I
I was
think he's a
alright.
lot top 5.
Huh?
That was pretty good.
You were pretty good. 1-1.
What'd
You
you
didn't
say?
lose.
No,
I was
top
just-
5.
I was just gonna we're just ranking players, and I thought maybe that would just be a good segue.
Into Hammer Ranks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh,
And
boy.
now, on
Now
the
I need to
BackChat
get behind this so I
podcast,
can
Hammer Ranks.
I don't have my...
Yeah, Hammer doesn't have his headphones.
I don't have my
He's not
headphones
listening
in.
to any of the stings.
No, that's
It's
all right.
finished now.
Okay, good.
So, look, we put to you a very short time ago.
Yep, you did.
So I don't want people to think that you spend your working days coming up with this content.
I think you were thinking about it on the scooter on the scooter.
Yeah, I was
Put
thinking
to
about it
you
on the scooter on the
a
way
very short time ago what we wanted this topic to be. So what is it?
The topic is of the Premiership, of the finalists, who can win the Premiership. And I think I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Brilliant.
Like top 5.
Brilliant.
I think it was instead
Hammer
of
Ranks, who's going to win the flag?
instead of top 5. I think what you guys asked me to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, is give a reason why all 8 can win it.
We
Yes,
want to know
good.
why. We wanted to Hammer Ranks who's going to win the finals
It's not
and
necessarily
why.
a rank. It's more just
Yeah, just give a
Each-
reason as to
yes.
why everyone can win the
Just wanted
grand
you to
final.
talk.
But the sting says Hammer ranks. So
Yeah, the sting does say Hammer Ranks. I can't hear the sting, which is fine. So that is why I'm going who will be the premiers, why each team can do it.
Shout out to all our fans on YouTube right now, by the way.
Yeah, shout out. And if you guys want to throw something in there, you do it. I can't read it because I'm not have a computer. Righto, we'll start off. I'm looking
So
at
can
this.
I just get some clarity?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all 8 teams. So just see that.
Yes.
There's a Premier's question mark thing. It goes Giants, Geelong, Hawks, Western
Well, it's-
Bulldogs, Brisbane Lions, Port Adelaide, Sydney, Carlton. I'm going to go one at a time through in that order
Yep.
and tell you why they can win why they're going to win the flag.
okay, strap
Makes
yourselves
sense.
in.
Strap yourselves in. GWS. Why the Greater Western Sydney Giants will win the grand final. This one's as simple and easy as their backline. Jack Buckley.
Wow.
Yep.
He is obviously the inaugural winner of the Jack Buckley Backman of the Year, but him and Sam Taylor, I think, of the defences in this, I'm looking at the remaining 8, they're the best 2 tall defenders.
And backs win premiership.
And backs win premierships. It's as simple as that. They've got guys like Iden down there who are locked down and guns. Bedford finds his way.
Lockie Whitfield's desperate
Lockie
for the
Whitfield,
pill.
he wants the ball.
And
but
you need someone desperate for the pill.
you do need
and
someone,
he is.
and you need someone who can kick the ball really
Yes.
well. Bucks isn't, he doesn't, he fists
kick.
it. Don't worry about him. He spoils. But I think you look at the forward lines and the attack of all the other 7, they're not getting through that.
Harry
defense.
Himmelberg, Sam Taylor, and Jack
And Co.
Buckley match all. So they've
Yeah,
got the
good luck.
Bulldogs. No, they don't have the Bulldogs.
No,
They've
they've got Sydney this week. So good luck, Joel Armadi. Good luck, Tom McDonald. And good luck,
Tom McDonald.
sorry, not Tom McDonald, Logan McDonald. Good luck, Logan McDonald. And good luck, Joel Armadi, because you're in trouble.
Yeah.
A
See
lot
ya.
of you are in a world of fucking hurt. That is why GWS will win it. Geelong Cats. The reason they will win the premiership is they've got the best coaches and assistant coaches in the competition. They've got veterans coming out there, wazoo. Jeremy Cameron, star. Tom Hawkins isn't playing, but you believe he's given finals experience to all these young boys.
Do you reckon he can come back and play?
I think he should come back and play.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay.
I think if he's fit, he should play.
Okay.
Even if he's a little bit underdone. Dangerfield's a star. He's like, I'm also looking at this. There's not many Brownlow medalists floating around. He's one of them. There's 4 Brownlow medalists in and amongst these teams.
Is that right?
He's one of them.
Is that all? Cripper's another?
Cripper's another. Lockie Neal's another. And Ollie Wines is another.
Is that it?
I believe so. Bulldogs don't have a Brownlow medalist.
I mean,
They should.
They should. GWS don't. Hawks don't.
No.
And the Swans don't.
Right.
They could at the end. Actually, no, they won't because he's suspended and I shit in my hands and clap. So that's why I think Geelong are going to win. Hawthorn are going to win the grand final because this one's, I think, pretty easy.
Why not?
They are the hottest team in the comp.
Yeah.
After round 5, don't take round 5 into consideration. 0 to 5 is just a warm-up. You get started, you get the blood going. They've been the best team without question. You're hot on them. We're all hot on them. Hawks are going. And they are flying along. They've got youth. They are exciting. What I said to someone yesterday was they don't give a shit and they just spit in the face of everything. But they're going to rise to this occasion, I think, personally looking at them. Jack Ginnivan, he's going to get, I reckon this week against the Bulldogs, 7 free kicks and kick 6 goals.
Wow.
Take it to the bank.
Wow.
Jack Ginnivan kicks 6.
Gee.
TABtouch will put a market out for that, I'm sure. Ginnivan kicks 6. They're going to win the grand final.
Okay.
Someone
They're
on
going to keep the
YouTube,
train rolling.
someone on YouTube just wrote, as we're talking about Brownlow medalists, someone wrote Adam Cooney, and then I think realised what we're talking about and then deleted the message.
Yeah. Adam
Shout out
Cooney.
to you.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. Hawks are the hottest team. They keep rolling. They go all the way.
Yep.
The Bulldogs are going to win the grand final. It's funny because they play each other and they both can't do it. But if the Bulldogs are going to go in and win the grand final, I say they will because they've got the single best player out of all of these teams, in my opinion.
Bombast player.
I think Marcus Bontempelli is the best player of all remaining teams.
Yes.
Neal's won 2 Brownlows. Cripps is a star. Dangerfield's won a Brownlow. Jeremy Cameron's a freak. But I think Marcus Bontempelli as a footballer is the best.
I like that.
Good teams win finals when their best players play well. There's no denying that. Good players step up when it matters. Marcus Bontempelli's the best player in all of these. He's going to just say, lads, jump on board. We're going there.
Yeah, we're kicking bulk goals.
Captain
We're
of
going
the
to
year.
kick bulk goals. Captain of the year. He's been captain of the year like 1 billion times, I think. He's MVPs of all things. He couldn't tip it with the Brownlow this year, but he will be Premiership Norm Smith medalist.
Can I just add some obscure observations
Of
that I have
course.
about these teams?
Yep.
Roy Lobb, the Lobster.
Yeah, the Lobster, also a star.
Yep.
I also think Sam Darcy would have won Rising Star if he didn't get suspended.
Well,
If
close.
him and Harley Reid both didn't get suspended, I think Sam Darcy still wins the Rising Star.
Okay, so he's a good player.
So why did Harley win first best? Oh, Sam
The
Darcy.
other
players
question
vote for that.
I
The players
have
vote for that.
is
Libba.
what is happening with Bailey Smith? I've just been popping up on my socials recently. If you could reach out to him, Dan, I know you're close.
Yeah,
You guys
we're
are really
tight.
close.
Does he just not play for Western Bulldogs anymore? Because he just works out in random gyms, puts up.
I do see that
art
he's-
exhibitions with Cody Waitman.
But that's okay.
but
That's
Cody's his
that's
teammate.
Yeah, of course, but like-
so not
Cody
the
Waitman's
opposite.
also a really good player. He'll kick a couple. Don't you worry about him.
I like Cody Waitman.
He'll go out and kick a bag.
Oh.
So that's why I think the Bulldogs are going to win it. They're going to be led by the best player of the remaining
Okay.
teams.
Okay, I like it.
The Brisbane Lions. The reason they can win it, in my opinion, they've got the best forward line of the bunch.
Best
Them-
forward line.
Yep, they got the best forward line when all things are singing. Lockie Neal is a 2-time Brownlow, potentially going to be a 3-timer. Their back's obviously led by Harris Andrews, who is a contender for the BackChat Backman of the Year. Robbed a Ball Australian, which was ridiculous. But they get a home final against Carlton. They'll win that. Don't worry about it. They'll just tick, see you later, into the next one. Then they get hot. They're going to have to do it a hard way. They're at the end of their premiership window, I reckon. They've had all the luck in the world. They should have won heaps at home. They shit the bed in 2020 when it was at the Gabba. They've had the world at their feet, and this is the last year I think they have to take it. But Danaher, Hipwood, Rayner's flying. Who else is flying?
Their
Bailey's
midfield,
there.
Neil and McCluggage.
Yeah, Neil and McCluggage, they're going. But I'm talking, they get it in there, they score.
Right.
As long as they don't have to play GWS,
Yes.
where their backs will shut them down, they're going to win.
How Harris Andrews didn't make the All-Australian
Yeah.
team is absolutely
Ridiculous.
beyond me. And I think he'll play a big part in them winning
They
the grand final.
also have a very underrated player by the name of Shadow Brain,
Oh, yeah.
who was one of 11 or one of 13. And don't you think that's not a competitive man? Who
So
wants to
he
get
knows
the
how
top
to
three?
get to fucking
He
dinner
knows how
first.
to get to the contest. He knows how to go from A to B. Shadow Brain and the Brisbane Lions all the way. Port Adelaide.
Okay.
Port Adelaide are going to win the grand final. So far, we've had 5 grand finalists. Port Adelaide are going to win the grand final.
Yeah.
They're hot. I think they're really good.
You already said that about someone
No,
else.
I said that about
You
Hawks.
said that about
I
Hawthorn.
think Port Adelaide are going to win the grand final because they play at home this week. They're going to knock Geelong off. Their home ground advantage, I think, is the strongest. Sydney at home aren't very good in the daytime. They've lost a couple there this year. Port, over the last 6 to 8 weeks, have been electric. Since Ken got booed,
Electric. Good.
they are electric power.
Because like Geelong has to play at the G.
Yep, Geelong have got to
Bulldogs
play
are
at the G. Bulldogs got to play at the G.
Hawthorn's pretty good at home advantage.
yeah.
But like, they won't get home ground
They
advantage.
won't get a home ground advantage. Port Adelaide go finals. I also think, looking at it, after Ken got booed off the ground,
Yep.
the players just all of a sudden love him.
Bad move. Bad mood to everybody else.
Shocking move to everyone else. Those guys who booed, it was the Port Adelaide fans. Maybe they did it on purpose. They booed him off, and the Port Adelaide players are thinking, oh, okay, maybe we like Ken and we want him to go around again, so let's win him a flag. Because apparently that's the only way the bloke's going to keep
And then
his
he's
job.
going to coach West Coast.
And then he's going to come and coach West Coast. No, he's not. I already know who that is. He is going to be the reason they win, Port Adelaide.
Okay.
Ken Hinkley and the love the players have for them. Also their home ground advantage. The reason Sydney Swans are going to win the grand final is a
They're
simple
hot.
one. I've said that about a couple of players. They've got, I speak about Marcus Bontempelli being the best player. These guys have got the best midfield that's been in the game since, got to think carefully about this. There's probably been a better one since Judd, Kerr and Cousins. Maybe since the Geelong team of like
Geelong's been pretty good. Hawthorn
late
was quite good.
2000s. Yeah, I think they've got the best midfield since Geelong.
Okay.
And we're talking Heaney, we're talking Warner, we're talking Goulden.
Because we're talking like Ablett, we're talking Sell, we're talking
Yeah,
Johnson,
yeah,
we're talking Chapman, we're
They were
talking
really
Lingy.
good. Yeah, they were really, really good. Yeah,
Sticky
they were
Lingy.
really good. Sticky Lingy. They've got 3 guys in their midfield that are apparently Brownlow medal favourites.
Yes.
They've got Brodie Grundy, who has had a tough month and a half, to be honest.
Has he?
But that being said, he's another midfielder when he's in there and going. They've got Rowbottom, who is a fucking animal. Like, if I was to pick a couple of blokes in the competition that there's a brick wall and you run through it, Rowbottom would be right up there for me. He's a star. And they play at home. They've got 2 home games. They can go bang, bang. And then they've had what you guys had, 2015 to 2018. You guys shit the bed in 2015, got done. They shit the bed 2021 or 2022.
Geelong.
They shit the bed in 2022. Now they bounce back.
Wow.
Now they go again. The West Coast, the Schofield theory. Shit, then good.
Yeah, great. Got to lose one and win one.
Got to lose one to win one. That's what they say. And the reason Carlton can win the grand final is that they can't. They're not going to go anywhere near it. They're playing Brisbane this week. They'll get shit on and they're done. Their grand final was last week. They lost it. The only reason they're in there is because Freo shit the bed. Carlton are the only team out of those 8 that can't fucking do it. Gripper's done everything he can for you, but you're just not good enough.
I hope Carlton win the
Oh, yeah,
flag.
that'd be
I
good.
don't know how on God's earth it'll happen, but that could be the greatest social clip of all time. Don't do it.
Go on.
What will I do?
Don't.
If Carlton win the flag,
Yes.
Yeah.
let me think about it. If Carlton win the flag, I will sit in this chair. Actually, no. I will be in... Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in Thailand watching the grand final.
Oh, no.
Footy trip, I'll be away in Thailand. If Carlton win that grand final while I'm in Thailand, I will video myself and I will put my hands down my throat and I'll spew up all over myself. I'll spew up all over myself if Carlton win it. They're not going to.
Oh, golly gosh. There you go. There's Hammer Ranks. And it's time to hear from our friends at TABtouch on the back of that.
You've got the touch.
You've got the
Power! Can't hear it, just make that up.
So thank you for that,
Thanks.
Hammer. Very
No,
much
you're welcome.
appreciate that. A lot of work went into that, clearly. Thank you. Now, off the back of those reviews, what?
It's just, I know what we're about to do, so it's just funny that we've gone off the back of that.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What
I think
are
it's
we
a good.
about
I
to
think it's what we should do. After knowing every team and why they're going to win the flag,
Yeah, minus Carlton.
we thought with our good friends at TABtouch, we
Yes.
would come up with the BackChat Road to Glory.
Oh, yeah. We
Sing the
spoke-
song.
Road to Glory, Road to Glory. What is
You know
that
what
song?
That song is?
No.
Anyone listening on YouTube right now, I
I'll
need to know what this song is.
keep
It's
an eye
not
on it.
Road to Glory, but it's like. I just, in my head, it's Road to Glory, and I know it's not. I just need to know what it is. So YouTube livers, please let me know.
All afternoon, he's been trying to figure out what the song is.
Because I want to play it to intro this. Anyway, what we're going to do, thanks to TABtouch, you need to download the TABtouch app. If you put this bet on the TABtouch app, as we've said all year, you might find out some things over there that you may not be able to hear on the podcast.
We've said this a couple of times. Don't be fooled by what you think you know.
Yeah, because you may not know.
You may not know it. Look, well, we've never said that, but look into it.
That's our favourite saying.
Yeah,
Just download the TABtouch
that's
app.
literally my favourite
Real LeBron James. That's my favourite saying.
So we are going to pick our way to glory, right?
Yeah, we are.
Someone has it?
I'll just check it first because we've got some answers.
Do you
And a few people have said the same thing, so I'm just going to look it up
Great.
first. Keep going.
Yeah, it's definitely not Road to Glory. I think I'm doing a good example, but none of you idiots in here can come with me. I don't know what the word... Chorus. This feels like...
Gotta be
This is it.
That's what it is.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Bound for Glory.
Bound for glory. Yeah, there
Bound
it
for
is.
Glory. I would say that's more on all of you idiots, right? And I very much appreciate all the work that goes into making this podcast, but you're all idiots.
Okay,
because
so
I was saying Path to Glory. How do we not know Bound to Glory?
Shout out
Bound
to
for
Foz
Glory.
Jam, Bon Marriott, James G, Lux, Harley Reid, number one fan, Mitch
Thank you.
Smith.
Thank God we don't have
Yeah,
idiots
thank
as
God.
fans.
I can't hear. I can't hear anything, and so you guys are just
It was
sitting
played
there
at the
listening
1991 grand final, apparently.
Yeah, Angry Anderson
Anderson.
bloody played it.
Angry
it
Anderson
couldn't have
did
been more
play it.
appropriate for this. Anyway, that's what I wanted to go for. BackChat, I'm calling it Bound for Glory.
BackChat, Bound for Glory.
Tell Tab.
Sponsored by TABtouch. I couldn't hear anything you guys were listening to just then. It was like I was just sitting there waiting for Geelong to
Bound
finish
for
in the final
Glory.
series.
Bound for Glory. It's Angry Anderson. I pretty much sounded
Yes,
better.
okay, there you
Anyway, TABtouch. We are finding our way to glory.
He
We
sang
get-
it on the back of the Batmobile.
He did.
Oh yeah, I
Absolutely
remember
did.
that now.
He absolutely did.
Yes, what a king.
So when you picture Angry Anderson on the back of the Batmobile, this is what I also want you to think of: how we're picking our way to the winner of the grand final.
Correct.
So we're gonna do this with TABtouch. We're gonna pick the winners of each week of finals, and we're
Yes.
just gonna take you to the
Yeah, we're gonna go all the way.
So this week we've picked the 4 winners. Well, we're picking the 4 winners.
So picking the four winners.
We
Picking
pick 'em-
all 4.
So we pick them all each, right? Like, so we're gonna each have a pick, and we're all gonna have our own, or we're just gonna combine it.
I think we're gonna combine it, aren't we?
I think we should go. No, I think we should go solo.
What?
No, we can't. Yeah, we're combining it.
All right, we're gonna combine. Okay,
Sydney GWS.
that's an obvious one. Sydney, right?
I think Sydney are going to win,
So do I.
only because I want GWS Hawthorn in the grand final, and the only way that can happen is if GWS lose the first
Right.
qualifying.
The path. Otherwise, they have
The
to
path
play
to glory.
Hawthorn.
Yeah,
Yes.
the path bound of glory.
So I didn't know we were combining this.
No, that's okay. No, let's do it. We'll combine.
We'll combine it.
That's
Sydney win. Sydney got to win that first one, don't they?
Yeah, Brisbane Carlton.
I think
that's a
Brisbane just beat them.
We don't.
I
even
did
need to
say that
speak
Carlton
about
Don't
physically
need to
can't
talk
win the grand final yet.
Bulldogs Hawthorn.
Oh, this is really tricky.
Head
I think the
says
Hawks
Bulldogs,
win.
Heart says Hawthorn.
I think
Yeah.
everything says Hawthorn for me.
I think Hawthorn.
Okay.
I liked your saying though. Head,
Head
does
says-
say Bulldogs.
Yeah, head
Yes.
says
It's their
Bulldogs.
favourites.
Yeah.
Head
we're
says
gonna go
Dogs,
Hawk.
heart says.
We're going
We're going
Hawk.
Hawk.
We are going Hawk.
We're going Hawk. And then the last one. So I thought we were doing these to get like separately.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, don't listen to anything I have to say because I don't really know what's going on.
Sure.
Port Adelaide don't. I think
Port
I
Adelaide
think
versus Geelong. I think Geelong win
beat
too.
Port
They're
Adelaide.
very
Yeah.
well coached.
Well, off the back of me saying, don't listen to anything I have to say about this, I couldn't be stronger on Port Adelaide after I saw them do what they did to Fremantle. I think, even though I want GWS Hawthorn,
What did they do to Fremantle? Not much.
I think Port Adelaide will win the grand final.
What?
They are my premiership pick.
What the?
They're bound for glory.
They're bound for glory.
What did they do to Fremantle that impressed you so much?
Defensive efforts. I very much appreciated the fact that I reckon 6 times they stopped goals by like diving and putting a fingertip on
Yeah.
someone's back,
Yep,
or
respect.
like a smother, or just desperation. They didn't need to win that game.
No, they
Freo
didn't.
did. Freo did. Freo needed to win that
Well,
game.
they also need to win to finish second.
No, they didn't really. They did, I know. But they didn't need to win
Yeah,
it.
they didn't need to win it.
I
They,
think Port Adelaide win the flag,
I
which
like-
tells me
yeah.
they're beating Geelong because I don't think Geelong are very good. And the only reason Geelong are in the top 4 is because bloody Brisbane shit the bed against Collingwood the week before and they dropped out of the top 4 because of that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
They Geelong
Port
are
wins
very
then.
good. Port win.
Port win
So
then.
don't listen to anything I have to say.
Yeah.
Other
No,
than
Port
we're
win,
not
go
going
on.
Geelong. We're going
Port Adelaide win. It'll speed up negotiations, and I think Port Adelaide are now going to
negotiations with Ken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know something we
Nah,
don't know?
nah,
What are you doing?
nothing.
Sydney, GWS.
Bound for glory.
So we're on Sydney, Brisbane, Hawthorn, and Port Adelaide. Odds will be up on the TABtouch app.
Yep.
BackChat's Road to Glory or Angry Anderson's Bound for Glory.
We
Bound
If you're checking
for
right now
glory.
the app, we did go a bit late with this with TABtouch. So if it's not there, check again tomorrow. But we'll put it up on socials.
Yeah,
when
it'll
it's
be up.
there,
It'll be
ready.
up. It'll be up.
Put
What's
it up.
gambling costing you? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Do you know who we spoke to during the day?
No.
Ben Bloody Brown. North Melbourne Shimboning fucking
He
absolute
was a
legend
boner.
status.
He kicked, I think, like 60 goals in a year once.
He led the goal scoring at North Melbourne 4 times in a row.
Yeah, he was a star.
So we're going to have a chat to him right now, thanks to ID Athletic, idathletic.com. Oh, before we go anywhere.
Whoa.
Before we go anywhere. Before we go anywhere.
Jeepers.
Hold the phones.
Okay.
The Jack Buckley medal is bloody going off its
Oh.
head.
Oh, shit, yeah, it
boy.
is.
I thought, you know, I didn't know it was going to go that well, to be honest. I thought that we'd have 50 of our mates down there.
Yep.
It's going well.
It's massive.
It's
Are we
huge.
talking
Big.
150 plus?
We're talking 200.
Oh my God.
We're talking to the venue and trying to figure out how we get more people
Yep.
in there, basically.
We may have to take over
So
the
can
entire
you
place.
please
What
keep
the
putting
fuck?
You need to
Yes.
put some pressure on us, i.e. put some pressure on the Leadable Hotel so we can take over the whole fucking venue, basically.
That's massive.
That's pretty much what I want to do.
That's the biggest
At some
news
point, though, we have to
of
cap
the
it.
day.
So
So,
Just heads
correct.
up.
So, Jack Buckley medal, get your tickets. If you haven't seen what it's all about, I think we've got a video we can play. I think we've got a nice little ad. Give us a look, fellas. We got something like hiding away in there somewhere? Oh, we do.
You really look
It's
good.
the most coveted award
Shocking
in
day there,
Australian
though.
rules
Outside
football.
the level
With
it's
the
not going to be
eyes of
like
an
that
entire
on the day
nation
off.
watching on,
Doesn't
the
care inside, that
BackChat
is true.
podcast
Look
presents
at
the Jack Buckley Medal. Brownlows are
That
for
is-
midfielders.
that's a- yeah, this is a
Coleman's
venue
are for
fit for a king.
forwards. The BackChat
look at
Backman
that.
of the Year. Finally, the recognition
might
Backman
just look
deserve. Live from the Leaderville Hotel, Monday, September
that.
23.
That was last
Tickets
year. That was
available
awesome.
now.
That was really, really good, wasn't it? That was the best event we've ever done.
What do you
I
guys
think.
think?
Correct.
That went pretty well. I think we nailed it pretty good. Yeah. It's got to hit me. Yeah, let's do it.
that's not Jeremy McGovern.
Yeah.
BackChatstudios.com.au. Get your tickets.
Ticket link is in YouTube chat.
We've got locked in appearances either by video or in person. Can't confirm or deny that. By current AFL backman.
Wow.
We have confirmed that during the week. We have giveaways galore.
It's going to be crazy.
We have bingo cards being printed as we
Yeah.
speak.
Will Chud be there?
Chud will be there. I'll be
Great.
there in person. I would just like to implore everyone
Mm-hmm.
that is coming
Yes.
to buy into the dress up.
Yeah,
Like,
correct.
It's a formal occasion.
Just literally go to the op shop and
Just buy a shit suit
Yeah.
or buy a shit dress, but just come in formal wear.
We'll be in tuxedos.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so you will not be overdressed. There's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
one possible way you could be overdressed.
I was
You
thinking
can be
of-
underdressed.
You definitely can
And
be, and
we'll
you'll
point
stand
in.
out like dog's balls. I was thinking about going an all white tux.
Ooh.
Difficult to find.
I think
Difficult to
that
find.
we
We
will
probably
need to
arrange
have
that.
some measures on you from a talent and more of a business point of view. If you win the flag,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to have some discussions around I don't know, how do we what happens if Hammer gets completely fucking blind? But
I will be. I
Yeah,
will be.
yeah, no. What happens if Hammer goes completely off the edge? Just takes it to a new level. I think we'll have to have some
Some contingencies in play. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean good ones. Like
Yeah.
I think
that?
if you're coming along and Hammer's won the flag, it could be the best night of
It
our
will. I
lives.
if we win the flag, I guarantee you it'll be the best night ever.
What's that movie where the people have to pretend like the cousin's alive and they have to like march him around doing stuff?
Yeah, a breakfast at Bernie's. No,
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Birdie's. That's what
Breakfast
it could
at
be
Bernie's.
like with us on stage.
Yeah, it actually could be. It'll be crazy.
dragging Dan's body around because Dan's been celebrating as well. Hey, we're going to go. Ben Brown, up right now. ID Athletic.
guy of all time.
Get all your stuff.
ID Athletic do literally everything. Sign a new coach. Get this together. Go for it.
Okay. Look, I would say, fair to say,
Mm-hmm.
we've been waiting for this man on the podcast for a long time. And You don't let me down, because about 3 weeks ago I said, get him on the podcast, get him on. He said, no worries, I will.
Yep.
Ben Brown, North Melbourne and Melbourne superstar, hangs the boots up in the first ever interview he ever does. I'm sure he's done lots more, but he joins us here on BackChat. How are you, Ben?
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm really well.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I will say, you just say we've been wanting him for a while. We have been wanting, but we've never reached out. I reached out within about 20 minutes. He was like, yep, in. So can't fault the guy.
It's
just committed straight away.
It's disappointing. He's a good bloke.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
I was just hoping just a shit bloke, but he's just a really great bloke.
Yeah.
Mate,
I feel
what's that?
I feel a similar way about you. So.
But I might not be a good bloke though. That's the problem.
I'd say there's Ben Brown, like good bloke meters. Ben Brown was slightly below.
Yeah, that's correct. So, mate, we saw you at Gather Round briefly though. How was this last year in footy for you? Did you know this was your last? Has it been an up and down one? How do you feel about now that it's all said and done?
Yeah, it probably has been up and down. I sort of didn't go into the year going, this is definitely going to be my last. And probably the way you are in football is that we get really tuned into that sort of professional competitive side of us that I think we all sort of tune into throughout our careers. So even towards the back end, I was still convincing myself and convincing my body that I was good to go. And it was probably just towards the back end where, probably looked at reality and where I was sitting and went, look, this is probably got to be it. And, the brain was still going, yeah, I feel like your best is capable, but I just wasn't capable of getting there as often as I'd like. And that's probably been the story of the last couple of years, unfortunately. But I'm really fortunate that I've had a great run of things. I'm really proud of the career I've put together, and I think I can rest pretty easy knowing that I put everything into my career that I could.
You're a premiership player, mate. You're going to finish a
huge.
premiership player. I think, like, if you play one game and it was in a flag and then you retired, I think you'd be happy with it. So to chuck out across two different clubs, 175 games plus a premiership. I mean, Perth must hold a special place in your heart now forever, surely.
Oh, it absolutely does. Not only for the grand final day itself, but we spent the few weeks there over the hub period, and yeah, it definitely does. I think we were the last game I played with our VFL side was on the Gold Coast. Holds slightly different memories given the 2020 hubs. But yeah, I think every time I visit Perth again, I'll definitely get the positive memories, that's for sure.
Oh, beautiful. Gold Coast. My favourite memories are out in the car park playing against Brisbane reserves in the 2020 hubs. They move all the cars off so we could have a kick of the footy around while everyone else was playing. I love the Gold Coast Suns.
Ben, what was your experience like? Let's go back, because you were at North Melbourne, then you moved to Melbourne, which is fascinating for me, someone in Perth who doesn't really understand geography of Melbourne. Are you just like slightly up the street? Is there a rivalry between the two? Was it weird going from one team to the other?
It was a little bit weird, and my first game playing for Melbourne was against North as well, down in Tassie, my hometown. So yeah, it was a little bit strange going to a different club, but I think most clubs are pretty similar, particularly in the Melbourne scene. Melbourne's not really in Melbourne. North Melbourne's right in the heart of North Melbourne, but most of the time we train down in Cranbourne, which is about an hour out of Melbourne for a Melbourne. So, well, it was a bit of a funny transition, but I was very fortunate. I was welcomed in by the club, and it was a great place to be for my 4 years.
So I can only assume you now you get to work, you get in the gym, you get to recover, just waiting for the Tasmanian team to come in, and then you just make one of the all-time comebacks. Known to man, Ben Brown returns at full force.
Let's go.
Is that what's happening? I can only assume.
I think I'd have to hang on for way too long for that to happen, unfortunately. I would have loved to have put on the Tassie kit once, though. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Obviously, Alex Pearce being over here, we speak to him a lot about his time and what he's thinking, and we've planted the seed. I think that he needs to hang on.
Yes.
I think he'll be 38 years old when the first team gets out and about. Like you said, it would have been something you would have liked to have done. It must still be exciting as a Tasmanian watching that all happen.
Oh, it certainly is. And by the way, what a legend Alex Pearce is, by the way.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Tassie, I think we've seen the last couple of years the Jack Jumpers have come in down there, and Tassie is such a sporting state. Like, I grew up, surrounded by sport, surrounded by basketball and footy, particularly growing up in the northwest coast of Tassie. And, people love it down there. It's just, a heart and soul place. And, so I'm really hopeful that the setup of the team goes well and they make the right decisions and go about it the right way, to make sure that, everyone gets behind the team. So we've seen in the Jack Jumpers that a whole state can get behind a team. I'd really love to see the same be said when the Tassie AFL side comes in.
A good mate of mine, Tim, he's from Tasmania, and I said, Tim, we're having Ben Brown on the podcast tomorrow.
They don't all know each other.
As a proud Tasmanian man, what would you want to ask Ben Brown? He said, ask him what his favourite memory of the Don Railway is. Is that a thing?
Tim, hi Tim, by the way. The Don Railway, fantastic. Love the Don Railway. I've stayed, when we go back down to Tassie, my wife Hess has got family just near the Don Railway, so still drive past it and marvel at the sights. Everyone get down to the railway when you're there for sure.
Look, I reflect on your career, Ben, and I think maybe you could have got maybe a year or two more out of yourself if you hadn't spent so long coming in for goals. Like, it just, you probably put an extra K or two on your games, and if you accumulate that over your career, you might have actually been able to play a couple more years. Talk to us about the long run up, because it was always fascinating for me standing on the mark, watching you do that.
What's this guy going to get here?
Yeah, well, tell me, can you talk to us, what was actually going on there?
It's probably a long time you had to sit there thinking, geez, I wish I hadn't let him hit up.
Yes.
Honestly, I was a ruckman growing up. I was a ruckman for the first 20 years of my life, and I probably worked out that I wasn't quite tall enough or didn't have enough mongrel in me to play in the ruck at AFL level. So I decided to try and, I suppose, make it as a forward, which worked out okay in the end. But yeah, I wanted to develop something that worked for me, and I suppose that was a little bit unique in a way. And for some reason that stuck. Don't ask me why, but my pop always told me, pick out a spot behind the goals, kick it to that spot and you'll be right. So I tried to keep everything really, really straight and really, I was almost more robotic when I started out. If you'd watched me play VFL or Tassie footy, I was really robotic, which probably sounds funny to people watching me, think that I was pretty robotic anyway. But it was just something that developed and I stuck with it. And yeah, I don't know. It was what it was.
Did you have people trying to tell you to change it? Because I know, like, over here, Josh Kennedy's run-up was spotlight on that all the time because of the stutter step and stuff, and people trying to give him advice. Was there anyone, or did people try to tell you to change it?
I was pretty fortunate. I didn't really have too many people try and change it. I think, I don't know what they would have suggested to change it to. It would have been wholesale changes, if anything. But yeah, no, I was pretty fortunate in that way. Yeah,
I guess if you're kicking goals, you're leading your team and kicking goals,
Most of the time I kicked it straight.
Yeah, correct. Did you ever play in the back line? So we know you used to be a ruckman, and then I would say took the easy route and went down forward. Did you ever play as a backman?
No, I never did. But I really enjoyed, it would have been 2 months out from the end of my career. We needed someone just in a drill. Someone went down and they needed someone. They went, Brownie, can you just pull a jumper on and pop in the back line? And I don't know, I loved it. Mind you, I don't think I was playing to the system or playing on a man particularly. I love just running around and trying to get kicks.
Mate, there's plenty that do it at AFL level. Plenty have made a career out of that.
Yeah, I did talk to Jake Lever afterwards and said I might be taking his spot.
Some good news out of Melbourne. I know you've just retired, but you'd still have links to the club. Christian Petracca is committed. A lot of speculation around his career, but he's in. That must be a good sight for Melbourne fans and the players and the team.
Oh, for sure. I think from my perspective, and talking to Christian a little bit over the last couple of months, I think the key thing for him is just footy should be the furthest thing away from his mind, to be honest. And I think the furthest thing away from the club's mind and everyone else. He's been through a pretty harrowing experience, post that injury. And I think from his perspective, the focus should purely be on just recovery, both physically and mentally. And I think as long as the focus is on that, and I think pretty much everyone at the football club would say that is their focus. We just want Christian to be well. That's the main thing, and I think there's been a lot of spotlight on him, and I really feel for him in that sense. But I think now the focus is on recovery and just getting back to, getting back to life before football.
It's interesting you say that, because I've been watching along and there's been a lot going back and forth with who said what and this person thinks this thing, and the whole injury thing. You would have seen this over your career, Ben, that when a player gets injured in a game, it's very rare that that there's anything life-threatening. Like it doesn't really happen. So someone will get a knock, and the stuff that happened with Christian, that happens all the time, is what I'm trying to say. And as teammates, you're kind of like, well, he'll be right. It's just how footy goes. Like the next week comes up and he's like, oh, when's Christian going to play? Like, and it goes for anybody. So I found that an interesting dynamic watching along, and I'm sure you knew all about it as a player, that it's just not something that really happens that much, that, someone's life is at threat because of something happens on the football field. You're just not in that space as a footballer, are you? You don't think that way.
No, and it's a reminder of the brutal game that, we play, or that we used to play.
Good correction.
It is a brutal game. We cop hits all the time, and I think there is that expectation that you'll be right and you'll be okay to go back out there. And I think we've probably developed in our understanding of things like concussion in recent years. Like, you only have to look back. One of the doctors I was talking to the other day referred to, the big Jordan Lewis hit that I'm sure we've all seen, going back with the flight and watching him out. And he said, he went out and played later that, like, he went back out on the ground and played. So our developing understanding of the human body and its capabilities, I think, will always be under the spotlight in such a combative sport as it is. But I think it is a good reminder, and hopefully, we learn something from this experience as well, because we don't want anyone to have anything life-threatening happen to them out on the field, and we want to make sure that the players are taken care of.
To finish up, mate,
I've got one more as well.
All right, so I'll go second last. And it's a two-part question. What do you think you'll miss, and what won't you miss about the AFL? And if I could say, hopefully you won't miss idiots like me bashing you up in the goal square.
You did used to bash me up, Will. Wow. But that's all part of the game, as we said.
Correct.
What will I miss? I think I'll miss the interaction with people that you get out of football. Kids that you walk past that get excited just to see your face and see a smile and a wave. I think that's something so cool that you get as a player that, you just, I won't get from, being outside of football. I think I'll be forgotten relatively quickly, as is the way with things. So I'll definitely miss that and miss the interaction with people and obviously people within the football club too, but particularly fans. Look, there's a lot I won't miss, to be honest. I'll miss not having ice baths quite as much.
Yes.
I won't miss worrying about my knee health and body health.
Yes.
First in the morning, for probably 10 years, the first thing I went was, how's my knee feeling? It might take me a while to move past that, but I'm looking forward to, just being a little bit more normal, I suppose.
Yeah, like it.
We don't often get to talk to guys on these weekly shows about people, when Will's played directly on opponents. We've talked to lots of guys, but you only play on 22 guys a year essentially. What do you remember about playing on Will, and what was your, like, we actually like to talk about how defenders play on forwards and how do you shut them down, but what would you do if you saw, like, okay, we're playing West Coast this week, probably gonna have Will Schofield, how would you play on him?
Will was a really tough opponent, actually. Really competitive, really hard at it. Also a lot quicker than me, which I found difficult. I'd think I was out in the lead and he'd come from 5 meters back and get a fist in. But yeah, no, he was definitely a combative player. I remember specifically a day down in Hobart that haunted me a little bit. We struggled a little bit and the Eagles came over there and he had a little bit to say about how he'd been all over me all day. And so, yeah, it was definitely one of my favourite matchups, just in terms of the competitiveness. I was a competitor. Clearly Will was as well. But, yeah, that is one thing I was quite happy when Will hung up the boots because I didn't have to line up against him anymore. So
I will fix you up after that incredible recommendation there. I will say
chin music for him.
That,
Come on,
well, that game he's talking
something.
about, that was solar panel day. That's when I copped abuse for 4 quarters, and so I couldn't take it out on the blokes behind me. So I had to take it out on Benny Brown. That bloke's calling me the baldest man in the universe, saying that it looked like I had solar panels on my head, powering the whole of Tasmania. Oh, very good. Hey, mate, thanks for joining us. Really great to chat to you. Had a great career, Premiership player. Well done. And good luck with your retirement, mate.
thanks, Will. Thanks, Dan.
Jeez. Well done, mate. Brilliant. You're too good of a bloke. You're a good man. Hopefully it all goes well. And if we're in town or you're going to keep playing footy, we'll cut off.
There we go.
Bye-bye, Ben Brown.
What a guy. Just a brilliant person.
You must be disappointed to see him leave.
Yeah. One of my he was outside of the West Coast Eagles, my favourite player in the AFL.
I think Hamish knows who the coach of the AFL.
He absolutely
West
does.
Coast. I
He
think
really
knows who the
does.
Coach of West Coast is. Something happened during the Ben Brown interview where it was you, me, and Hamish, and then Hamish has left.
Yes.
I can't explain it.
I can't either. Don't know what.
I think
the
it's
goal
something to do with the head coach of West Coast.
Yes.
And him knowing who it is.
This is crazy. I feel like it's not often. Sometimes I hear little things here and there.
I reckon Hammer knows.
Absolutely does.
I reckon if you're paying attention in this episode, you might know too. Let's go and hear from our friend at Front Runner. Wow. Front Runner Performance, Front Runner Physio. What? Someone said what?
Chud Evans is apparently that's the next coach.
No.
Right.
See if anyone was paying attention, especially on YouTube Live. Thanks to ID Athletic, idathletic.com. We bring you our second guest of the evening, Steve Gravina from Front Runner Physio and Performance. And he's got some updates on some of the AFL players and their injury worries coming into finals. Let's go have a look. Okay, becoming a regular of the show, and we enjoy that. Steve Gravina joins us from Front Runner Performance. Hello, mate. How are you?
Very well, mate.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We've just been chatting about Kokoda and how I'm going to survive or not survive that, which would be brilliant. But I think we should get straight into the footy. It's finals week, which you being a good footballer yourself and myself being a very retired footballer, we think that finals footy is the best time of the year, right?
This sure is, mate.
This is why we're here. So from a preparation and fitness point of view, a few items to go through. Will Day's probably been the one who has been ruled out from Hawthorn to start with. He's a very important player there. His injury, what's that?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a unique injury. He's dislocated his sternoclavicular joint. So where your sternum and your chest meets your collarbone. Unique injury to injure. Usually when you get a hit from the side on the point of your shoulder, the force will be enough to break your collarbone. But the angle of the impact would have basically bypassed the bone a little bit and popped the bone out of the joint at the front.
Right.
Can happen one or two ways. It can pop out the front or pop out the back. If it pops out the back, that's a problem because your lungs are back there. Usually more car accident stuff. But in footy, when you get hit by the side, it'll pop out the front. The issue is there's not a lot to keep that joint stable. So once you dislocate it and split those ligaments apart...
Can't strap it.
You can't strap it, no. So you basically have to wait for the joint to heal up, and it's an incredibly painful injury.
So is he done then?
Not necessarily done, but he's obviously not playing this week. And so that'll be 2 weeks he's missing with the bye and the first week of finals. So, yeah, I mean, the third week back would be absolute best case scenario, I'd say.
Does it affect movement of the arm and stuff?
Yeah, so the sternoclavicular joint acts as a bit of an anchor for the shoulder movement.
Right.
So without that point to pivot from, the shoulder becomes pretty lame, and it'd be very painful for him.
So you can't just play through the pain. It's just...
You said you've done it.
I have done my sternoclavicular joint, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I missed 3 months, actually, from that.
A bit soft?
I am a bit soft, mate. That was
Sounds
the advice
awful.
of the docs. Yeah, it's a painful injury, and for him, he won't be sleeping at night. It's hard to lay on. It's not going to be a fun week or two. No doubt, if he can function, they'll put some local in there to numb the pain. But, yeah, at the end of the day, he's need to be able to get his arm overhead, need to be able to take contact.
Because if he copped another hit, that would destroy him, right?
That'd be pretty sore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not jabbing that, I'm assuming. Carlton. So, look, their form has been spluttering along to the back end of this season, and a big reason is because of injuries. They've been missing a lot of their players, but there's a lot of talk. I saw Michael Voss, who in his spare time coaching the football club in his regular job, chasing down criminals and tackling people. I reckon he went through almost 11 players that were tests this week. Can you tell us what that would be like in a footy club with that many players, all, first 18 types, being under fitness clouds and the decisions they'd be going through?
Yeah, it'd be an absolute nightmare. There's a critical weight of numbers that you could bring into a game without it really disturbing the team balance and being too much of a risk, because you can carry a couple, but if you start carrying 3, 4 or 5 guys that are underdone and a couple of them go down, then you're really in trouble. And if that happens early in the game, and then odds on you're not going to win the game of footy. So they'll be going through all sorts of scenarios about risk profiling each of those injuries, the chances of the guys surviving, the chances of them playing well, because at the end of the day they need to perform as opposed to being fit to play. So there's going to be a lot of different scenarios played out between the coaching staff.
When it's under test, is it like a one-on-one situation, like a trainer with a player? Are they assessing their movements and that sort of thing? Or is it just like they do a training session, come back and report what they've done?
Yeah, it'll depend on the injury. So there's a couple of soft tissues. So the hamstring and calf guys will have to show that they can sprint and repeat sprint and get through a full training session, as opposed to, some contact work where maybe the big guys with the ankles up forward are going to need to show that they can, do high velocity change direction, do some contested work, and those ankles stay up. And then even I think Sam Doherty's been thrown up as a possibility to play.
What's he coming back from?
Did his ACL?
Yeah, is he?
6 months ago. So
wow.
It'll be that'll be a risk. But from all reports, he's trained for a month and shown that he's training the house down. Usually it's 9 to 12 months. And so if they're going to roll the dice with him, you'd be holding your breath.
Because a re-injury on an ACL, like off the back of a short turnaround, like that's almost 12 months guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is his third one.
Right.
And so, all the science will suggest the new ACL ligament is going to take 6 to 9 months to get enough strength in it on its own, let alone, reconditioning the movement patterns of footy and getting strong enough to play. So,
that's scary.
I'd be surprised, but it is a final.
Would they be thinking, we might only need him for 2 games and then he can have a bit more rest, or is it?
Well, with an ACL, it's a lot of the time, you're either in or you're out, and so it's one contest away from rupturing again. So it's not a case of he's okay for 100 minutes.
It's not
but
load
no more.
based. It's not load.
No. So I don't know. I'm sure he's even thrown up as a sub option to come in for a short period of time. But he'd need to have ticked off so many boxes to be able to play.
So that's finals footy we're talking about. But over here in the West Coast and Fremantle, their seasons are done and dusted. A couple of things I wanted to ask about that. Like, we've heard plenty about exit meetings with Melbourne and Christian Petracca and that sort of side of things. But what does exit meetings look from a medical point of view, and for those sides that are out of finals now, so those boys? Yeah,
so I think from what I believe, it's still the case. I think you've only got 2.5 days left for the players after their last game before they're out of the club. So it can be a bit chaotic from a medical and high performance point of view to get everyone prepared for the off season. So with a team like West Coast that weren't finals bound all year, you had a bit of time in the lead up, and so the S&C coaches and sports science guys would have been prepping the off season planning for all the guys, and so the guys have been carrying injuries, might have an extended period off legs and no running for a while. Guys
that have been prepping since March.
Guys that guys that have had more serious of an injury that may need surgery, they've been holding off and getting through the season, will go in for surgery in that first week. But then usually most of the guys that are relatively healthy and just need a little deload will have a couple of weeks off, freshen up, and then they'll start their off-season programs. Versus over at Freo, when you're planning for finals and then all of a sudden that's not happening, it would have been a bit more chaotic last week, I'd say. Yes. So that would have been, chasing their tails to get everyone ready. Because, again, you've only got 2.5 days to get everyone sorted. And then, they're off on their footy trips.
Did you as a player take those last meetings seriously? Like the medical checks?
Well, I was just about to speak about that because, I took them seriously, but more often than not, you're either drunk or about to get drunk. So you have other things on your mind. You're like, okay, you have surgery? No, it's just when is it? Like, you're not worried too much about it. But I remember catching up with Warren Kofed, a good mate of ours, Steve, who ran the fitness program at West Coast for pretty much my whole career. I was always a big supporter of having more time off at the end of the year, Steve. So I was wondering, because it was always like for 15 years, it was like 2 weeks off and then start going again. Look, and I wasn't the most uninjured player, but I didn't get injured a lot. I used to take 4, and I told Kof that having some beers after he finished up and I finished up, and he was that pissed off about it because I didn't tell anyone about it. Why so little time off for us as athletes? Why wouldn't you give us more off? And I'm not saying you, but why is it just the 2 weeks? I want 4, 6, 8.
Yeah, well, as an athlete, fitness should be not only a priority, but also something that's enjoyable for you. And so,
wasn't always enjoyable.
If you can maintain a chronic continuity of fitness all across the season, your chances of surviving and being healthy are enhanced. So when you start to go beyond 2 weeks into 4, then the deconditioning effect starts to occur.
Right.
So when you start to go again, your risk of getting injured when you restart goes through the roof. So if you can just have enough time just to freshen up, but then keep you ticking along, and those first couple of weeks wouldn't have been much more than a little jog for you, mate.
That was first 6 weeks. There was nothing worse than the first run back, because I used to take more than 2. There'd be a 4. Like the very first run, no matter how you're feeling, no matter how fit you are, 30-minute fartlek, there was no worse feeling than going for that run. So,
yeah, but you would have come in on week 3 of the program. So you missed week 1 and 2, which was a bit of a soft entry, mate.
That's a good point.
You would play for half the year and you want an extra 2 weeks off.
Yeah. What do you mean half the year? What?
It's 24 rounds in a season. That's half the year.
What? Oh, okay, sorry, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you want more time off.
But do you think that's all? Do you think you just rock up at the week before round 1?
Basically.
No, but this is what I'm saying. You train for 50 weeks, mate, of the 52. You get 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
How many weeks do you get off at a normal job? Not this job.
2 to 4.
Not 2 to 4. You get your
annual
4.
leave.
You get your 4.
Yeah.
It's legal. Bloody West Coast are going, yeah, no, just take your 2 weeks and... joking.
Anyways.
We're joking. Hey, Steve, thanks for joining us, mate. You're all back into the vibe of things after your big trip to Borneo?
Yeah, we're all going well, mate.
Business going well?
Business is going well. The team at Front Runner Physio are chomping at the bit to see as many clients like yourself who are have a big training goal up ahead.
Yes.
So if anyone wants to come down, check out the team.
Or there's a bit of stuff going on with... I was down walking laps effectively, preparing for my stuff down at Lake Munga, soon to be renamed something. And Raf was down there with a big crew of runners as well.
Yeah, we've got our running groups really primed for the upcoming marathon season. So Perth Marathon's only 4 weeks away. Sydney and Melbourne are around that mark as well. So anyone that's keen and able to build up for a run down the track, come down and check out the coaching team as well.
I don't think I can mentally do a marathon, but as I said to you at the start of this year, I would like to explore getting back into 800-metre physique. I talked to you about it at the start of this year. We couldn't put it together. I'm still thinking about this. I used to like running fast, and I can no longer do it.
What would be a good 800-metre run for you, like a goal?
I wanted to try and get sub 2 again. And that's quick.
That's a good time, mate.
Yeah,
that's a good time.
I asked you if you thought that was possible. For me.
Anything's possible. Kokoda might be a good little reflection time for you to reassess your goals.
Gee.
And when you're going up and down those mountains, mate, come back to me at the other end and say tell me if you want to do 2 minute 800s.
Great. And if I do, you can make it happen. With the right level of commitment and dedication on my end.
We'll make it happen.
Mate, he hasn't even brought in... I've been telling you, bring your walking shoes in to wear them in a bit, and I haven't seen them once.
Steve, you got to go back to work. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, I'm Will, and I'm a backman. And I'm Gov, and I'm a Paywise brand ambassador.
And you're a backman.
Yes, I am, but I'm also a Paywise brand ambassador. And I know that the best way to get into your next car is through the Paywise novated lease.
To learn more about novated leasing, contact Paywise today or just ask Jeremy McGovern. There we go, Paywise, our good friends at Paywise. I'm starving. We've got indoor soccer to play, outdoor soccer.
We need to get a meal, but first I want to read you out some of the names of people guessing the West Coast Eagles.
Because Hamish knows who the coach is.
Apparently so. Wouldn't tell us. Did he tell us? Who knows? Someone, do you know, is there a Montgomery?
Montgomery Burns?
Maybe.
Brett Montgomery.
Guy
GWS coach.
Guy McKenna.
I'm not confirming or denying any of these, but I will deny Guy
Daisy
McKenna.
Pearce.
Well, I'll deny Daisy as well.
Ben Cousins. Harold Holt.
Harold Holt, no.
Who was Harold Holt again? Is that Neighbours?
Who's the Prime Minister that died?
Oh, that's right. Who's the guy from Neighbours? Harold
Bishop. Fucking Damo. Couldn't give me fucking Bound of Glory, but you can give me Harold Bishop.
Straight off the bat. Someone also guessed Hamish Brayshaw.
None of those things are right.
Someone also said, this is in reference to Ben Brown, greatest man of all time. Ben is a celiac, hence the struggle to bulk up. Don't know if that's true or not, but someone said that on YouTube.
Do you want me to respond to that or not?
No.
Like, are you genuinely asking me to reply to that?
People love Ben Brown.
Ben Brown's a good man.
Very good
unfortunately.
Man.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Just because he was your direct opponent most of the time.
Yeah.
And so you want to hate him. But
I like
he's
him.
a genuine... Hinkley, Adam Simpson, Dan Const, Harley Reid.
All those are wrong.
All those are wrong.
Well, I don't know. Hammer wouldn't tell us. Or maybe
Yes.
he did. Paywise, TABtouch, Shelter Brewing Co., Whippersnapper Whisky, ID Athletic, Mamba Digital, West End Plumbing, Camera Electronic. Thank you very much.
Wow, Jaiden.
Thank you very much for your support, our partners, our sponsors. But before we leave...
One last little treat.
I'd like to give you a little something to nibble on before Wednesday's release of part 2 of Adam Simpson.
Huge.
The pub has done so much for me. It's just been the best experience of my life.
Is that something in you that you feel like you've had to be able to pick that from players?
I'm surprised we won 18.
How much influence can you have on grand final day like that? Five goals down as a coach.
And then the losses started to mount up. And that became a real challenge.
What did you say when you walked into the press conference?
That's why I think the group now, they're ready for something different. You just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
Ooh, all the juicy bits that
Very
everyone's
good.
been waiting for.
Well, it's pretty much his time at West Coast.
Yeah.
If you haven't figured that out or not. Part 1, I think, was our best of all time.
Yeah, it's very good.
You were sending me bloody screen grabs of
Yeah,
bloody charts, which
rocketed
I
up
tell you
charts.
never to do that.
No, but
it was quite good.
It's just helpful to know that we're on the right
I was
track.
like top 5 in the country. I feel like
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And part 2 is, honestly, it's probably better.
Part 2
than
is better,
one.
got to say. So
Yeah.
if you are a regular listener, we don't fuck you around. I think it's better.
Yep.
So make sure you're tuning into that. That'll be Wednesday morning. That'll be dropping.
Yes.
We're going indoor soccer. Bye.